Good evening, and welcome to another episode of A Rude Awakening, episode 43, where I will try and answer as many of the questions you send me as possible. Um, Please understand that everything I teach comes from fundamentally a non-dual perspective. In the most recent years, in the last 15, 16 years, I've delved deeply into A Course in Miracles, but I've also studied a variety of non-dual paths and teachers. And these are just my opinions. So this is not the overall understanding of the course community. Every teacher for God's student of the course has their own perspective, and please understand that we all are all collectively adding to the awakening of our dreaming mind. My fundamental teaching is that the purpose of non-duality, or specifically A Course in Miracles, is to bring us into the awareness of dreaming, and to make us realize our obstacles to peace, um, that prevent us from knowing self and knowing what love is. But let's continue with Secrets of the Obvious. And the first question, this person tells me a bit about themselves. They're new to a course community, um, and recently found A Course, the book, without actually have been guided by anyone. They just found this in a secondhand bookstore, found A Course in Miracles, the blue book specifically. Have now, for some reason, found me as a teacher on A Course in Miracles, which is interesting because I do really dial it into the non-dual. And he's asking me, hi Lou, can you recommend another Course in Miracles teacher that regularly, so that regularly, underlined regularly, teaches from a non-dual perspective? So I don't know if you've listened to anyone else that doesn't teach a course from a non-dual perspective, but I don't know how you can not teach A Course in Miracles from any other perspective. Um, well, I would highly, highly recommend Keith Kavanaugh. Um, just beautiful in the way that he brings across the non-dual message, and he's got a profound understanding of the teachings of A Course in Miracles and non-duality, but more importantly, lives it. So um, I think you'll also enjoy a friend of his and a friend of mine, actually, Leon Joel Russell, we actually do a series together called Awareness of Dreaming. Leon's got a beautiful way of dissecting, intersecting, and asking beautiful questions that bring about profound understanding. You'll see there's a series of us, there's three of us, the three bearded monkeys. So have a look at that one. Awareness of Dreaming is a channel. In that channel, there's an absolute madman called Stephen Dean, who's just absolutely brilliant in his profound understanding. Best you have your speedy ears on, because he speaks incredibly quickly, but has a ton of life experience and can bring in a very relevant story to deepen the understanding. Then um, uh, Brianna, she's got a channel called Blunt and Upfront. Look her up. She's got an incredible, uncanny ability of simplifying the course. There's a few people on this forum that are also great teachers. Um, Look up Mickey, and I'll send you some of her videos as well. And then my favorite teacher, which for me was a fundamental teacher, I found her before I found Ken Wapnick. And I got to meet her in the UK and just love the way she teaches and brings in the psychology and the metaphysics into it, is Carol Howe. Carol Howe is a profound teacher for God and just a total miracle worker and beautiful teacher. So look her up, and she's got such a beautiful, calm demeanor and brings such wisdom through, and knew um, the originators of the course. So look up Carol Howe. But you will find your teacher. Another one of my favorites is Sailor Cat, the wife of Sailor Bob. Sailor Bob's gone, and although she's not a course teacher, her teachings are profound. Um, anyway, there's you just keep scrolling, you'll find the right one. And um, Rupert Spira, to me, is a phenomenal and inspirational teacher, as is Eckhart Tolle and Muji, for example. I find that Rupert Spira's teachings are profound in the understanding of the non-dual. The only disagreement I have with Rupert is he believes God is dreaming, whereas the Course will teach you that it's a little extension of God, the sonship that dreams, not God dreams. So God's not witnessing himself. God is not aware of what dreams. And yes, the Son is an extension of God, and therefore the essential nature of God too. Essence energy is God. But part of the Son's mind, just energy, is temporarily trapped in dreams or thinks it still dreams because it hasn't forgiven itself for dreaming. But you will find the right teacher. Keep it up. And one of the questions you also asked is, you're aware that I continue these talks after I stop recording. Yes, I do. And so what I do is for those people that join this forum, I then give the next hour or half an hour or whatever time is remaining available to them to then ask direct questions. And the reason I don't record that, and you're asking me why I don't record it, is because of all the privacy laws and all the strange people on YouTube that then get stalked, that stalk the speakers, and of course there's always the critic, and so I keep it confidential between myself and those that attend my forum, and there's no secrets in the mind. Yes, I understand that, but not all the mind's ready for no secrets. So please join this channel. Join me. You'll find me on YouTube, Course in Miracles South Africa, and I post the weekly reminders of when I'm going to be doing this, but it's every Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Central Africa time, Johannesburg. Okay, next question. Interesting question. Beautiful question. This is a person that was very involved in a church. She actually says a cult, an English cult in England for many years, and it was all hell and damnation. But what she loved about it was she had a community. She had communion, so weekly, and go to church every Sunday, but also weekly would join communities. And she's a widow, lives alone in her 80s, and she misses the community. She misses the communion with others. And she's asking me if I know of anything like that in the UK. I don't. So look up ACIM UK, and maybe they have weekly meetings and forums too. I'm in South Africa, and I'm unaware of any course groups that get together. Um, but also realize that church, temple, is something that we should go to, but the temple is within you. So go there daily, commune with God in silent stillness as often as you can, as frequently as possible. Any given moment where you have just a moment of stillness, awareness, consciousness, where you're conscious of being, just go straight into the heart temple and just rest as awareness. Of course, the course community, there's many a course teacher that offers, counseling and guidance and retreats and so forth. So you could find one of those. But just look out in your community. You will find course students all over the world. There's over 4 million of them now, I think, if not more than that. But ask and you shall find. And they don't necessarily have to be only Course in Miracles students. I mean, the non-dual path, there's many, Taoism, Buddhism, there's many a paths. So if you look around and you are open to it, you can learn from all of it and just apply three principles. Do not judge the world, others, yourself, and be aware that this is a dream, and ask to be shown. And the quickest way you transcend your dream consciousness is to rest as awareness, give God your time, your tithing, and gratitude. So you can't give your problems away. There's no dustbin to throw it away. Holy Spirit's not a dustbin. He's not that little Pac-Man creature that gobbles away all your issues. All you require is a bit of willingness and silent stillness and gratitude. And in your gratitude, you but give gratitude to your capital S holy self. And gratitude begets gratitude. And the script is written. Life's going to play out the way it's scripted. All that you can do as the decision maker, that which is aware of being the awareness itself, is decide, do I listen to the awareness, the only thought I share with God, which is pure unconditional acceptance of being, love, Or do I listen to the multiplicity of ego voices in my head that have a myriad of things to say, and all of them will be judgmental? So I hope that answers your question there. Next question is, it's going to be a long answer, so bear with me on this one. Um, I've just said it a few times, and the other person's asking me, dear Lou, I often hear you say rest in God, or rest in peace, or rest as awareness. Some teachers, some ACIM teachers say walk with Christ. I've never heard you say that. Well, there's no walking when there's nowhere to walk. Space and time is but an illusion. So they're just being. You've never left the kingdom. You are the kingdom. And the word kingdom, we use that regularly, but it's also a mistranslation in the Bible. The word kingdom, if you go back to the Greek word, never meant a kingdom as in a physical kingdom or a place. Kingdom was really just the ether, the ethereal cosmos, consciousness. But the ethereal conscious awareness is within you. The temple is within you. So rest as awareness to me is being present in the moment with the awareness of being aware, the awareness of being. Now, when we get to these, dare I say, top rung of the ladder explanations, words start to fail us. It's just resting in silent stillness and gratitude, and just being grateful for being aware that you are awareness. If I was to say to you, are you aware of me speaking right now? You would say, I am. And if I was to ask you, what is aware of me speaking right now? You would have to answer, I am. Well, that is the ultimate understanding. And prior to that is, I don't understand anything. But I am is your immortal beingness. It's your indivisible shared beingness with God. It is the all-encompassing awareness of awareness. And what is all-encompassing? God, love. So awareness, God, love, same thing, same essence energy. So to rest as awareness or to rest in God is to be aware of the primordial awareness before thought takes over and captures your imagination. Awareness is all encompassing. It's what remains when all subjective and objective experiences are dissolved. When you close your eyes and rest in total silence, no thought. What is aware that there's no thought? What is aware of thought? I am. Well, that I am is the awareness. It's to be the observer of all activities and no activity. It's the being and not the doing. It's the essence, energy, life spark that makes you aware that you are aware, makes you aware. It is aware that you are aware. It's awareness being aware of itself. What is that self? It's a state of perpetual peaceful joy. It's a state of being. It's a state of no wanting, no judging, no thinking. It's a state of being. There's no doing. There's no activity, yet it's dynamic. There's a flow, a dynamic flow, a peaceful, joyous, dynamic flow. It is the essential nature of your being. It is what you are. We go through sort of three states while we appear to be characters in our dream of separation. The first state is total unconscious awareness. That people are still aware of subjective realities, objective realities, people, places, things, and events, but they're unaware of what is aware. So dream reality is their reality, is the reality of someone who's unconsciously aware that they are the awareness itself, unconscious of self. They haven't dared to ask, what am I yet? They haven't investigated who asks. They haven't investigated what seeks for whatever and why is it that they seek. And gradually, or depending on your progression through space-time illusion, second stage comes gradually or instantly if you've done enough of the work without even realizing you've done the work. Most don't that have that spontaneous second state awakening. And that's the awareness of your being, the awareness of awareness, awareness that awareness is your being, awareness is yourself, is your shared self with God. And so that second state is being aware of dreaming. You now become aware that what you look upon is dream content, as are you. And you were, and people that go into that state, and again, symbols twice removed. State is a poor word to use because awareness isn't a state, but it's all encompassing being. But if you've transcended into that state, you'll be aware that when you dream at night, there's lucid dreaming. You're aware you're dreaming even at night. And so you're then aware that you're dreaming during the day. You're aware that the whole world is an externalization of an inner condition. And when the filters, the obstacles to peace are removed, and the light flows freely, the dynamic light of awareness flows freely, the world starts to change, bringing you into the third state of being while you appear to be in form. And that's when you recognize that everything, everyone shares its being. It's all the I am with everything and everyone in the universe. And that being is unconditionally accepting of what is. Closest we'll get to understanding unconditional love while we inform, totally accepting, recognizing we accept but illusions in order to transcend them. We accept them as is. We accept that we're part of a script that is already over, and that the essence energy we are is our capital S self. And we share that self, that Christ self, right-minded self, our true self with everything and everyone throughout the universe, whether everything and everyone throughout the universe is currently aware of it or not. And so, in that state, being aware of being aware, you're in a constant state of meditation. Meditation isn't sitting with the eyes closed. That's the beginning practice of meditation. Meditation is being aware. You are awareness itself. You are the observer, awareness of being. And it's a continuous communion with self and God, with the essential nature you are, with the essential nature of God. It's the shared Holy Spirit you share with God. It is prayer. It's true prayer. And true prayer is a song of gratitude. It's a constant being aware of being aware and a constant gratitude for being. Awareness of awareness is our primordial state before we fell asleep and dreamt of nothing. Awareness of awareness is our essential nature, pure awareness. And it's not just nothing, it is dynamic. And in a body mind experience, it is peaceful joy, joyous being. But since you are A Course in Miracles, I want to draw attention to chapter 31.2, Walking with Christ. Um, walking with Christ is another way of saying rest as awareness. Walking with Christ is another way of saying no judgment, observe without judgment, and do not be afraid of looking within, because that's our greatest fear, to look within and recognize we've done this to ourselves. So let me read to you from A Course in Miracles, chapter 31.2. An ancient lesson is not overcome by opposing the new and old. And sorry, this is just the setup because the answer to your question is a little further down, but I need to set this whole thing up for you. It is not vanquished that the truth be known. So there's no need to try and reinterpret things in a different way or force a new belief upon yourself. It comes to you in the most natural, non-resisting, natural flow. Nor is it fought against to lose truth's appeal. There is no battle that must be prepared, no time to be expended, and no plans that need to be laid for bringing in the new. And although we do all these sort of disciplines and practices, it's really our willingness that does it. But we bring in the practices and the discipline to show our willingness. But eventually our willingness is effortless, and we're just in a state of prayer, meditation, nonstop. But as a novice to the process, to the course, to the non-dual path, it may appear like you're doing meditation practices or prayer or communion, but it's actually just your willingness to be shown that brings about. And please bear in mind that once the forgiveness lesson is done, if it's truly done properly, the triggering stops. Um, if not, you'll just be triggered again and again, and you'll just keep attracting circumstances, people, places, events into your conscious awareness in order to continuously practice the forgiveness. But once it's done, um, you won't be triggered anymore, but the forgiveness continues like the Ho'oponopono. Dr. Hugh Len, he was continually just doing the Ho'oponopono prayer because while you're still in form, the greatest gift you can give to your fractured selves, your brothers, sisters, is to bring in forgiveness for the collective. Who could be hurt in such a war when you realize that it's only a war with yourself, unless he hurts himself? He has no enemy in truth. There's no one attacking you. And whatever you see as an attack in the world is actually a form of judgment and therefore an attack on self. And can he be assailed by dreams? So you're taking your dream seriously. And then someone's going to say, yeah, but I know when I'm dreaming at night, but this reality is real. When you dream at night, that dream reality is real for you in the moment. That's why you have nightmares and fantasies. You take it seriously, and you're taking this dream state seriously too. I don't know a single person in the world that hasn't wondered if this is a dream too. We all do. Well, either God is mad or you are. Either God has made this up or you're dreaming this up. What's more plausible, that God is mad or that your imagination's crazy? Let us review again what seems to stand between you and the truth of what you are. For there are steps in its relinquishment, the appearance of steps, ladders, the ladder to atonement. The first a decision that you make, but afterwards the truth is given you. So you've chosen to be willing. You've chosen to be shown anew. Okay. So the problem is you would establish truth. And by your wish, you set two choices to be made. Each time you think you must decide on anything. And how do you know you're deciding between two things? The minute you're judging one right and the other one wrong. What wouldn't you do and what couldn't you do if you knew that everything happens to you and everyone else is only happening for you, the Holy Son of God's highest good? Couldn't you just accept what appears to happen, whether you agree to what's happening or not? Because neither are true, nor are they different. You've made two decisions. You want it this way, you want it that way. And that becomes the ego's rule for decision. You've already decided, and then you ask God that God gives you what you've already decided should be the way. Yet must we see them both before you can look past them to the one alternative that is a different choice. Because the ego gives you options, gives you choices, and you think, well, maybe one of them is more spiritual, one of them is more holy. You've already made up your mind about what the choices should be. So when you're in flux, when something's triggering you, realize you've chosen already. When something triggers you, and now you need to practice forgiveness on it, something's already triggered you. You've already decided. If something triggers you, you've already decided. And now you think you're observing as if you've got choices. You've already decided. Yet must you see them both? See the decisions you've made. This option, that option. This is good, that's bad. Okay. So you can look past them to the one alternative that is a different choice, but not in the dreams you've made. You've got to be aware of dreaming, that this might be obscured to you. Because if you think what's happening is real and you're deciding between a right and wrong, good and bad, and what decision you made, you've already made up your mind that what you see is real. And now you want God to fix your illusions of what your subjective reality is. What would you choose between is not a choice that gives but the illusion. It is free, for it will have one outcome either way. Thus, is it really not a choice at all? Because you've already chosen that your alternatives in the dream are real. The leader and follower emerge as separate roles, each seeming to possess advantages you would not want to lose. So in their fusion there appears to be hope of salvation and of peace. You see yourself divided into both these roles, forever split between the two. And every friend or enemy becomes a means to help you save yourself from this or attack someone else. Perhaps you call it love. Oh, I can't believe this is happening to those people. And now you want to judge it. Perhaps you think that it is murder justified at last. Well, I don't like those people, so I'm so glad they're being attacked, deported, or whatever the case may be. There's already a judgment. You've decided what is right and wrong. And now you're asking Holy Spirit to bring you peace while you're choosing to decide on hell. You hate the one you gave the leader's role when you would have it. That's why people hate any body of authority, and whereas others love people of authority because they can abscond their responsibility and pass it to someone else. And if it all turns to shit, they can blame the leader. Passive aggressive behavior. And you hate it as well. His not assuming it at times you want to let the follower in you arise and give way to the role of leadership. You see that in relationships, special love relationships. And this is what you made your brother for. That's why you fractured, so that you could look upon fractures of yourself, blame parts of yourself, and never take full responsibility. It's like taking a weapon and harming another and then saying, my hand did it. It's okay, we'll just chop off the hand. The rest of my body is innocent. Unless he serves it, he has not fulfilled the function that was given him by you. So you want people to suffer, attack you, be victims. You feel sorry for them, be triggered by whatever is happening to them, because you don't recognize you've done this to yourself, Holy Son of God. This whole entire illusion you've dreamt up. Now, the modern age spiritualist is going to go, oh, you can't say that. How do you say that to someone who's been abused or attacked, that they've done this to themselves? Not they, the character, have done this to themselves, you horse's ass. Really? Eh? Rude awakening, time, smack, smack. That was Jesus' backhand slap. You, the dreamer, have done this to yourself. And through your dream character activities, through which you witness the subjective and objective contents of your dream, you now appear to judge yourself from a vantage point. It's all you, Holy Son. And until you take responsibility for dreaming, this entire dream, until you get over the fear of looking within, where you recognize I've done this to myself in order to keep myself judging outside myself, choosing outside myself, thinking I have decisions to make between right and wrong, good and bad, yes and no, pretty and not pretty, beautiful and ugly. While you think you have those choices, you but choose to choose within illusions as opposed to step above the battlefield and choose right-minded awareness only, which is observe without thinking. And without thinking, if there's no thinking, there's no doing that proceeds, because thinking precedes doing. So without others, what purpose is there for fractured parts of ourselves? If the whole entire world would now collectively become one being, what would you judge? And so, what of your brother? What does he want of you? What could he want? But you want what you want to him. So you're now, which makes us automatically suspicious of everybody out there, because only cheaters think everybody cheats. Only liars think everybody lies. Only the treacherous believe everybody's treacherous. Only the corrupt believe everybody's corrupt. Only the untrustworthy don't trust. And yet, what made them that way? You, the dreamer, fractured parts of yourself, fragmented in this planet, this space-time continuum, in 8 billion fractured cells, 8 billion parts of looking upon itself in 8 billion different ways in order to judge itself unworthy and keep itself asleep. Herein is life as easily as death. For what you choose as well for him. Because if you're attacking a brother, you've chosen him to be an attack thought, and therefore, as you attack him, you're going to perceive him to attack you too. Two calls you make to him, and he to you. Between these two choices, because from them, there is a different outcome. If he be the leader or follower to you, it matters not. For you have both chosen death. Doesn't say both in the course, but you both choose death as long as you choose to see yourselves as enemies. And what is an enemy? A many me's, fractured parts of myself, the many me's. But if he calls for death or calls for life, or for hate or for forgiveness and for help, is not the same in outcome. Hear the one, and you are separate from him and are lost. Hear the cry for judgment and attack. But hear the other, the cry for love, and you will join with him, and in your answers your salvation found. The voice you hear of him is but your own. What does he ask you for? And listen well for what he is asking. For he is asking what will come to you, because you see an image of yourself and hear a voice requesting what you want. Before you answer, pause to think of this. And this is where the rest as awareness comes in. Because before you start reacting to what anyone's doing, thinking, saying, reporting on, pause, empty thoughts. Don't go and follow those thoughts. Every thought takes you down a rabbit hole. There's some crazy lady talking to a rabbit down there. Just don't even bother. I think her name is Alice. Not sure. Don't go down that rabbit hole. But just be aware. No matter what thought you follow, you get entertained by these thoughts, and before you know it, you're down that rabbit hole, and there's little Alice talking to a rabbit. Okay, so the answer that I give my brother is what I'm asking for. If you rest as awareness, what will you start to see? You'll start to see awareness calling you to return to resting as awareness. And the minute you see something that in your previous life you would have judged, in your present life, which is what you always are, it changes. And what I learn of him is what I learn about myself. So the answer that I give my brother is what I'm asking for. So if I judge not what I see, I ask not to be judged. And if I ask not to be judged, then I don't accept judgment, and therefore I don't offer judgment, because I can only judge when I have it. So if I'm judging myself, I'm judging the world. If I do not judge myself, how can I judge the world? For as a man judges, so he is judged, says the old Bible. But judged by whom? Not by God, by his own judgments. So this is now taking us into why rest as awareness is so important. And whether you say rest in God, rest as awareness, walk with Christ, words a bit simple is twice removed. What it's asking you to do is to become present in the here now moment. No time, no space, no thought, no past, no sin, no present moment unconsciousness, guilt, and therefore no future expectation, fear. The three primary movements of separation: sin, guilt, fear. So if you're present here now, no thought, no activity, what do you learn of yourself? You learn that you are the I am, the awareness of awareness. And if the I am in you is the I am in your brother, the love in you is the love in your brother, then love is the absence of space-time, awareness is the absence of space-time. When you rest as awareness, you dissolve space-time, and all 8 billion of your brothers are one with you in the awareness of being. Don't believe me. Please don't. Try it, though. Just rest as awareness, no thought. Where's the world when there's no thought? What could possibly be wrong if there's no thinking? If you have no thought about anything, where do things go wrong but in your head? And then say, yeah, but you go out in the world and things go wrong. Well, things just appear and disappear, and they just are what they are. You only suffer them when you think about it, when you think they shouldn't have happened, shouldn't have been this way. Suffering is the shouldn't. Why? What if? If there's no thought, if there's no what if I wish I hadn't, I wish I could have, I wish I should have, why did this happen? Why is it happening? That's thought, that's resistance, that's suffering. If you observe without a thought, does that mean that you won't act? Trust me, when you're called to act, the Holy Spirit inspires you, you'll act. So what I learn of him is what I learn about myself. And let us wait an instant and be still. Course is constantly reminding us to be still and know I am. Wait an instant and be still, forgetting everything we thought we heard, remembering how much we do not know. You don't know anything. You don't know why it's happening. This brother neither leads nor follows us, but walks beside us on the self same road. We're all fractures of one dreaming mind, experiencing our dream of vengeance and suffering. And what keeps us dreaming vengeance and suffering is that each fractured part of ourselves keeps judging every other fractured part of ourselves. And yet he's like us. They're all us. Fractures appear to be different. If you take a glass container and smash it, no smashed piece is identical to any other piece. The shards of all different shapes and sizes. And yet they're all made of the self same glass that was the bowl. He is like us, as near or as far away from what we want as we will let him be, as we imagine him to be. We make no gains he does not make with us, and we fall back if he does not advance. It's this game of push and pull, the ebbs and the tides of the dream. If you take close attention to the dream and look at the sacred geometries of the dream, you'll notice it's all in sacred geometry of pi and ebbs and flows, 0.618 pi, phi. Take not his hand in anger, but in love. For in his progress do you count your own. When you rest as awareness, you're not measuring anything out there, but your little willingness brings you into the unification of our shared beingness. And we go separately along the way unless you keep him safely by your side. So why would we go separately along the way? Because we see ourselves as separate. But when you see your brother as fractured parts of your dreaming mind, you realize we're all like a glass bowl that's now shattered in all direction, and you now magnetize the center of it, and the glass is magnetized, it all recollects back on itself. That's what's happening to every shroud of fractured self, each one reflecting every other fracture, each one made of the essential nature, the substance, the substrata, the essence energy of, as every other shard of glass that has been fractured in that bowl, a bowl of conscious dreaming. So let's return to being. So remember, every piece of the glass of the bowl that I'm now talking about is your brother. And because he is your equal in God's love, in the awareness of being, and the essence energy he's made from, you will be saved from all appearances and answer to the Christ who calls to you as he calls to every other fractured shroud of your dreaming mind. Be still and listen. Think not ancient thoughts. What are ancient thoughts? Beliefs, judgments, ideas, concepts, where anything is seen as different or separate from anything else. When you return to awareness, all there is awareness. When you rest in God, all there is rest, no thought. You don't think when you rest. Forget the dismal lessons that you've learned about the Son of God who calls to you, the biblical stuff. Christ calls to all with equal tenderness. Please note, Jesus freaks. It's not Jesus calls to all with equal tenderness. Jesus, the character 2,000 years ago, essence, energy of what Jesus became, Christ, right-mindedness. It's our right mind, Christ, calls to all with equal tenderness, seeing no leader and no followers, and hearing but one answer to all of them, because he hears one voice. Our mind is hearing one voice, the call from God, from within ourselves to our fractured selves to return to being ourself knowingly. He cannot hear a different answer from the one he gave when God appointed him his only son. So this is the memory for God, the voice for God. What do we call the voice for God? Memory for God. Holy Spirit. What's the Holy Spirit? It's our essential nature. It's the core essence energy of what we are. Christ calls to all with equal tenderness. No leaders, no followers. So if Christ is calling to all with no leaders, no followers, why have you put others, deities, above yourself to God? Why have you done that? Again, it says, make this bold, underline this in your manual. Be very still an instant. Just takes an instant. Try that instant as often as you can until those instances join and makes up 24 hours a day. Come without all thought of what you ever learned before. When you rest as awareness, there's no thought. and put aside all images you've made, all your vain imaginings, all right, wrong, good, bad, and everything that you think's triggering you. You're triggering you because you've put it outside yourself and you choose to judge it as opposed to let it play out. But you think you need to change the world because you think you've come here to do something because of your ancient lessons, that you've come here to change something. Just as people 2,000 years ago thought that Jesus came to lead the Jews out of captivity. What did Jesus really change in the world physically? Well, besides he had a little go at the temple or one day. What did he physically change in this world? Well, I guess he also put tassels on a donkey named Harley, and ever since then, Harleys have had tassels. But what has he really done? What did Jesus contribute to this world? Not even a new name for wine. So Jesus didn't contribute a single thing to this world. He brought about an inner shift, an inner change, an inner awareness. But we're all so programmed to think we've got to come here and change this, save that, change that, stop that war, stop that leader, change this policy. It's okay if you want to. Go ahead if that's your calling. But if you truly want to transcend this world, then you've got to recognize there's nothing you can do to change the script. It's going to play out the way it's going to play out. And all you're going to do is put a huge amount of effort, and it may appear to change while you appear to be changing it. But once you're out of the way, once your body, mind, character dies, it'll all go back to what it's supposed to be. So be very still an instant. Come without all thought of what you ever learned before and put aside all your images you made. Because everything you see is an image you've imagined, you've made. The old will fall away before the new without your opposition or intent. The old will fall away before the new awareness of being without your opposition or intent. Intention always creates more intention. So you're always in tension, and then you call it anxiety. Your intention to change things or expect things to be in the way they are is what causes your anxiety. There will be no attack upon the things you thought were precious and in need of care, people, places, things, and events. There will be no assault upon your wishes to hear the call that never has been made. Nothing will hurt you in this holy place. Why? Because the only thing that can hurt you, the real you, is your thoughts, or the belief in the thoughts are yours. You've never had a single thought, and the only thought you've ever had isn't a thought in and of itself. It's just pure awareness. Pure awareness is the thought you share with God. We'll have to have a word with Holy Spirit and Christ mind because, the only thought you have with God needs to be changed. The awareness with you have with God. So we're going to go back and rewrite the Course in Miracles and take the blue cover and make it purple so it's more advanced. A purple cover. How's that? The South African purple cover version of A Course in Miracles. In deepest, darkest Africa, there is a light. I'm making it up. Okay. No more than this will you be asked to learn. There will be no, I'm going back, there will be no assault upon your wish to hear the call that never has been made. Nothing will hurt you in this holy place, the silent stillness, to which you come to listen silently. Did I say silently? And learn the truth of what you really want. No more than this will be asked of you to learn. Because you're not really learning anything. You're just remembering what you've always been, what you always are, what you always will be. But as you hear it, you will understand. And understanding is the transcending process. Because understanding is just the recognition of what was always real for you. So when you really have a glimpse and understanding, there's immediately a transcendence because of the recognition of what's always been there. And you will understand you need but come away without the thoughts you did not want and that were never true. So which thought have you ever had that's true? Think of one thought that you've had that is true. And you're going to probably try and get all spiritual on me and say love. You have no fucking clue what love is. Did you hear what I said? You have no fucking clue what love is. You think you love. What you call love in this world is either ownership, okay, or attraction, or responsibility towards a child. True love is the acceptance of what is, unconditional acceptance of what is. It's the closest we'll get to true love. True love is Yes, when a mother holds a brand new baby or a parent holds a child or what you feel for your parents, but that feeling isn't what love is. It's just what filters through the body mind apparition. What's behind that all is the acceptance and the unification, the knowing of one indivisible self. It's joined. It's joined is the wrong word because it was never not joined. It's union. It's at one ment. It's indivisible. It is omnipresent, omniscient, omnificent. We use the word God, love, awareness of being. Forgive your brother all appearances that are ancient, but ancient lessons you have taught yourself about the sinfulness in you, and therefore sinfulness in them. Because had you never been taught sin, would you know it? The Bushmen have no word for sin. Why? They didn't have religion. But yeah, his call for mercy and release from the fearful images he holds of what he is, and what you must be. As you look, so you're looked upon. As you judge, so you're judged upon. He is afraid to walk with you and thinks perhaps a bit and lags and thinks perhaps a bit behind, a bit ahead would be safer place for him to be. And this is what we do. We want to push others away, stay ahead of those, stay behind those. Why? Because if we admit that what we see as sinful in our brother is actually first and foremost in us, in ourself, in our dreaming mind, then what is that but the fear of to look within? And that's our greatest fear, the fear to look within and recognize I've done this to myself. And the next fear I have is never having existed as a separate individual at all. Because when I return to being, I can't imagine that all these fractured parts of myself, which I so judge as being good, bad, evil, and whatever the hell, will be part of my one self. And the fact is, no, it won't. Because the only thing that returns is the essence energy of everything, the pure, unadulterated God spark, love energy, essence energy, soul of every single fracture will return as one indivisible Christ. For so do you forget the journey's goal, which is but to decide to walk with him. Your brother is your savior. Why? Your brother, looking upon others, if you can look upon them and see that with no judgment, you will be released from dreaming. That's it. That's all you need to, and that's what you got to look forward to be released from believing in your dreams. It is a way you go together, not alone. And in this choice is learning's outcome changed, for Christ has been reborn to both of you. The recognition of what's Christ reborn? One indivisible shared self with self and God, which is one indivisible beingness. An instant spent without your old ideas of who your great companion is and what he should be or is asking for will be enough to let this happen. And you will perceive his purpose is the same as yours. Why perceive? While we appear to be informed, we will always, all there is in perception is thought and perception. All there is in dreaming is thought and perception. First is a thought, then it gets filtered, perceived. He asks for what you want. So when you rest with awareness, you recognize your shared indivisible self. And what is it you'll want? To knowingly be the essence energy you are, to be yourself knowingly. It takes perhaps a different form in him, but it is not the form you answer to. He asks and you receive, for you have come, but with one purpose, that you learn you love your brother with a brother's love, unconditional acceptance of being. And as a brother, must his father be the same as yours, as he is like yourself in truth, your true, indivisible, shared essence energy. Together is your joint inheritance, remembered when you rest as awareness, and accepted by you both. Alone it is denied to you both. So remember, when you rest as awareness, you you go into resting as a divided, fractured self. In your resting, you unite with all your fractured thoughts and form, bring it into your conscious, unified awareness, and rise as awareness. Use a visual picture to see that. Is it not clear that while you still insist on leading or following, you think you walk alone with no one by your side? But when you rest as awareness, you neither lead nor follow because you are unified and joined. This is the road to nowhere, for the light cannot be given while you walk alone. And so you cannot see which way you go. And thus there is confusion and a sense of endless doubting as you stagger back and forth in dream experience in the darkness and alone. Yet these are but appearances of what a journey is and how it must be made. Because where do you but travel? You travel on a journey to a place you've never left, through a time that's never existed, only to recognize you are that which you sought for. For next to you is one who holds a light before you. And where's next to you? It's in your beingness, standing next to you, the physicality, yeah? So that every step is made in certainty and sureness of the road because the light has come, the light is in your mind. So you don't even need a lantern because your mind lights up your path. And where's your path but within yourself, closer than close? A blindfold can indeed obscure your sight, but cannot make the way itself grow dark. Why? Because you are the way. Christ, your right mind, is the path, is the way, is the light. And he who travels with you has the light. Why? Because he who travels with you is your mighty, holy companion. And who is that? The Christ in you, the light in you that calls you to be yourself knowingly. Okay, I hope that I get trapped in the terms walk with Christ or rest as awareness, rest in God. It's just to be still, be present, and just bring the entire universe into your beingness. Join it, atone with it, at one with it, and then rise up with it and share it. Share the light you are. Okay, let's just take a short break. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. And I want you to see the subtlety of the ego in this question. And Mr. Questioner, please don't judge yourself for this, but just realize how ego's crept in through a question and be aware of this in your daily life, in your daily lives. So hi Lou, and long story about what she does for a living and so forth and so forth. And this person lives in America and there's a whole lot of things happening at the moment in terms of deportations and border control and blah, blah, blah. And she seems to see some atrocities happening all over the place. And she says to me, how come some character projections are aware of dreaming, but others seem not to be? Hence, I seem to see the good and evil that appears in all the world. Now, if you look at, there's a beauty within this because they want to understand how come parts of this fractured dreaming mind are aware of being aware, yet parts of it are so unconsciously unaware that they appear to play out the darkness. But be aware again, Holy Son of God, that while you dream, you but look upon fractures of yourself. And since you, a character, have no choice in the script you play, the only choice that remains is to which teacher, to which voice in your conscious awareness, in your head, you're listening to. If the choice or the voice you're listening to is giving you choices between right, wrong, good, bad, you're listening to the ego. Ego splits the choices up into options. When you're listening to your right-minded Christ self, there's no choice. There's simply be here now. Be aware, be in gratitude. Be in gratitude means how can you be judgmental in gratitude? You can't. So to be in gratitude means no judgment, no thought. Don't buy into the thoughts. Don't follow the thoughts. Be aware you've never had a thought. So when you hear judgmental thoughts that beat you down, that beat you up, that call you all sorts of names, that tell you that you're not good enough and make you drag the past into the present and project it into the future, sin, guilt, fear, you've gone down the wrong rabbit hole. You've gone into the Antichrist mind as opposed to abiding, resting in God, rest in Christ, which is rest as awareness and constant gratitude, constant gratitude, constant gratitude. And gratitude goes hand in hand with constant forgiveness. Forgiveness, gratitude, forgiveness, gratitude. That's it. Ho'oponopono. Okay. So how come some character projections are aware of dreaming? If you were aware of what you are, you wouldn't see the characters that are trapped in dreaming. You would recognize that everything happens for your highest good. The script is playing out so that you, as you become self aware and then become aware of the interconnectedness between all of it, by you remaining in awareness, you remaining in present moment awareness, by you remaining in gratitude, you but heal all the fractured selves that you think you once saw as dark, as evil. If you're seeing evil in the world, it's because a part of you is still unforgiven. A part of you is unforgiven by what? By whom? By yourself. Because what is forgiveness but a illusion to get rid of the idea of separation, which is an illusion, but it's the illusion that ends all illusions. This looking and wondering why others are asleep while some are awake means that you must imagine you're awake. And remember when I've said before, you go and sit at the feet of the guru and the guru is so enlightened, so amazing, so unconditional love. How would you know that unless a part of you recognizes that as reality, as real, and therefore it must be in you too? Again, I seem to repeat myself a lot. Our greatest fear is the fear to look within, because to look within, we cannot but realize that we dream. And thus we've done this to ourselves, the whole thing. And so when we see conflict, we but see the conflict in our dreaming mind, not in our fracture, not in the fracture of body mind appearance, but in our dreaming mind. So you've got to take first dreamer position. And from first dreamer position, you move into the witness and witness without thinking, without judging, without saying anything. Observe above the battlefield. So when you realize that all judgment is within your dreaming mind, okay, what is it judging? It's judging in order to stay asleep. It's judging against the light that calls us to awakening and know that we have never left the kingdom, for we are the kingdom in which God abides. We are the present moment, the awareness in which God abides as awareness. And this takes me to chapter 31.3, the self-accused. And so, as beautiful as your question is, just if I was to say to you, some are awake, some are dreaming, because in space time it appears that certain parts of the fracture have awoken to self while others seem to not to be. So let's go back to the glass bowl analogy. You've dropped the glass bowl, shatters into many pieces. Where do you start? You pick up the bigger shards first, and then you carefully pick up the smaller pieces, and then smaller pieces. Eventually, you sweep the whole thing away. That's what's happening in the dream. It's being recollected unto itself. So in chapter 31.3, it talks of the self-accused. It's about being aware that the minute you're in judgment between that's awake and that's asleep, it's your ego spiritualizing. It's like any person that says, I am self-realized. I'm enlightened. Huh? If you're truly enlightened, you wouldn't be informed. The best you get to in this world is the mind is enlightening. The mind is awakening to itself. All you can do, all that a Ramana Maharishi or a Jesus did was became self, capital S, self-aware, aware of self as the primordial essence energy we all are, our indivisible essence energy, which we share with everything and everyone in the universe, unconditional love. So the greatest fear we have is look within. I've done this to myself. So if I'm judging, I'm still in judgment. And it's not some are enlightened and others aren't. No one, no body is enlightened. The mind is enlightening. No body awakens. The mind awakens. If the mind awakens, all fractures, the whole universe disappears. All characters disappear as the mind awakens to our immortal reality. What does that look like? No idea. But we get glimpses, and it's the awareness of being, the peaceful joy of being, the infinite lightness of being, the title of my next book. So only the self-accused condemn. Because be aware that in this question where you're trying to delve deeper into the nature of being, ego's crept back in and has put a judgment in the question. And this isn't a judgment of you, but just be aware that if you see it as a judgment, then you but judge yourself. Only the self-accused condemn. As you prepare to make a choice that will result in different outcome, there is first one thing that must be overlearned because you've learned separation and the mechanics of separation. It must become a habit of response, so typical of everything that you do that it becomes your first response to all temptation, to see things as not as they are not. Because as soon as you see good, bad, right, wrong, you see them not as they are because there's filters in the way. And since you've now put your orange colored glasses on, everything's orange. Take your orange colored judgment, obstacles to peace out of the way, and what will you see? The infinite light of awareness. You won't even see people, places, things, and events. You'll only know being. Okay, so it must become a habit of response, so typical of everything that you do, that it becomes your first response to all temptation, to every situation that occurs. Learn this and learn it well. And remember, this learning is just a remembering of what you already are. Learn this and learn it well, for it is a delay of happiness that is shortened by a span of time you cannot even realize. You can't comprehend, you can't compute this. You never hate your brother for his sins or what they do, right, wrong, good, bad, enlightened, not enlightened, but only for your own. So if you see others as unenlightened, there's a part of you which is completely still asleep. A part of you, a part of the fractured you, a part of the fractured part of your mind. Remember, the character doesn't awaken, the mind's awakening. And when the character realizes it's the projection of the mind, and thus realizes the indivisibility of itself, it now has a choice to look on sin or to look upon our shared being. And where it once upon looked on sin, it now looks on a call for love. And what is a call for love? To look without judgment. Whatever form his sins appear to take, it but obscures the fact that you believe them to be yours, and yet you haven't admitted to yourself. Why? Because you're afraid of going within, and therefore merit a just attack, a judgment, as subtle as you seem to make it, and go, oh, poor them. I can't believe this is happening to that bunch of people. Well, because you still believe that you haven't done this to yourself. It's all you. And yet you could see this another way. And if you saw the Christ in all of them, you have no idea of the contribution you do to the collective awakening of our one shared self. Why should his sins be his sins if you did not believe they could be forgiven in you? Why are they real in him if you did not believe they are your reality? And why do you attack them everywhere except you hate yourself? Are you a sin? You answer yes whenever you attack, whenever you judge. For by attack do you assert that you are guilty. Your judgments assert that you are guilty and must give as you deserve. And that's why you live in fear, because as you judge, so you think you're going to be judged, and therefore you live in fear of the judgment. And what can you deserve but what you are? But if you recognize yourself as spirit, as Holy Spirit, as pure Christ, awareness of being, what will you but see? If you did not believe that you deserved attack, it would never occur to you to give attack to anyone at all. And since you are judging and attacking all the time, it's being projected back at you, and you do not make the correlation, you don't make the connection that you judged yesterday, and today you're being attacked for something you appear to have done. You don't realize that it's always reciprocal in the illusion. Why should you? What would be the gain to you? Oh, well, if you recognize the truth of what you do is only being reflected back at you, you can choose to step out of it and choose right-mindedness, rest as awareness, give you a little willingness. But if you don't, what could the outcome be that you would want? And how could murder bring you benefit? So what do you want? You want them to go away. You want them to be changed. You want them to change their behavior. You want them to be punished for being that. You want them to be taken out of the equation. And so you keep judging the illusion of decisions you can make, the illusion of judgments you can make. Because judgments is an illusion because you but dream. You've never judged anything. You just appear to judge. You just appear to think. And how do you judge without thought? And since you've never had a thought, how can you judge? Because judgment is thought. Be still and know I am Holy Son of God. So here's an example of how I add to the course. Sins are in bodies. Okay. So Lou adds, sins are perceived in bodies because there are no bodies. So, Kimberly asked a question earlier is, you know, Lewis adds to the course in his own notes. Yeah, because imagine saying sins are in bodies. Well, then, okay, are they? No, they're perceived to be in bodies. They're perceived to be in the world. They're perceived to be in the dream. They are not perceived to be in mind, but it's all mind, in mind, and holy mind. They are not seen as purposes, but actions. Bodies act, bodies appear to act, and minds do not appear to act. And therefore, must the body be at fault for what it does? And that's the reasoning of the ego. And that's why we beat ourselves up for not being good enough. But if you had no body, would you be good enough? Everything you judge has a body. And if you didn't judge, if they had no body, would there be a judgment of it? It is not seen to be a passive thing, obeying your commands and doing nothing of itself at all. This is the way the mind reasons, the ego reasons, that the body has an urge. Oh, my body's calling for some ice cream right now. It's not. It's your mind believing in scarcity, wandering off, needing some satisfaction, some pleasure, calls for, oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to do with myself, let's have some ice cream. And then 2 hours later, you're judging yourself because you're putting on weight. I shouldn't have had the ice cream. And that's how the ego traps you in this continuous repetitive loop of judgment, 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 judgment. Okay. The body must act on its own and motivate itself. That's the reasoning of the ego. If you are a sin, you lock the mind within the body. And that's a big spiritual school of belief, believes, spirit's inside a body. No, it's all mind projecting the images of bodies. And then we make it all esoteric and metaphysical. There's a soul inside a body. No our soul. There's no soul inside a body. It's one dreaming mind, one soul, fractured into the appearance of multiplicity of bodies with souls. It's one soul, one our soul dreaming. And yet you give its purpose to its prison house, to the appearance of a body which acts instead of it. A jailer does not follow orders, but enforces orders on the prisoner. And so you become both prisoner, thoughts, judgment, and jailer, the body that seems to host the thinking. And we can reverse it. The thoughts are the jailer, and the body is the prisoner. You play it in many a different way. No matter which way you look at it, it's all illusion. You are that which dreams temporarily, which is already awoken, but you haven't forgiven yourself for having dreamt. But you can only forgive yourself for having dreamt when you become aware that you dreamt, not that you are dreaming. Dream's already over. Well, how do you know that it's over? Because there's no space-time. And when you return to the present here now and abide in the presence, rest as awareness, the presence of the omnipresence of God, where's bodies? What is there to be judged? Yet is the body prisoner and not the mind, the appearance of prisoner and prisoner. The body thinks no thoughts, but even your brain thinks no thoughts. You're being thought through. Your brain is just a receiver and transmitter of the thoughts projected, constantly transmitted by our dreaming mind. A jailer does not follow orders, but enforces orders on the prisoner. And so what's the jailer? The dreaming mind. What's the prisoner? All its projections in the billions of body-mind activities and animals and creatures and planets and stars and solar systems. So yet is the body the prisoner. It holds in prison, but the willing mind that would abide in it. It sickens at the bidding of the mind that would become its prisoner and grows old and dies, because the mind is sick within itself. Learning is all that causes change. And so the body, where no learning can occur, could never change unless the mind preferred the body change in its appearance to suit the purpose given by the mind. For mind can learn, and there is all change made. And what does it learn? It learns to unlearn and remember what it's always been. The mind that thinks it is a sin has but one purpose, that the body be the source of sin. To keep it in the prison house, it chose to guard and hold itself at bay. A sleeping prisoner to the snarling dogs of hate and evil, sickness and attack, of pain and age, of grief and suffering. Here are the thoughts of sacrifice preserved, for here guilt rules and orders that the world be like itself, a place where nothing can find mercy nor survive the ravages of fear except in murder and in death. For here are you made sin, and sin cannot abide in the joyous and the free, the essence of what you are. For they are enemies which sin must kill. In death is sin preserved, and those who think that they are sin must die for what they think they are. And what do you think everybody is? Thinkers of thoughts. And so not only do you punish and kill yourself, you but punish and kill every appearance of yourself, which is actually just yourself fractured into appearances, when in actual fact what you are is the observer of what appears to be and never was. And when you recognize yourself as the observer, as the witness, as the true decision maker as to which part of the mind you listen to, right mind or wrong mind, then you transcend all of this, and this world will never trigger you again. Let us be glad that you will see what you believe. Do you believe your spirit? Do you believe you're a body? And that it has been given you to change what you believe, because that's all you can do. Choose again. Choose not to believe in sin, fear, and guilt. Choose not to believe in death. Choose to believe spirit is eternal, for the word spirit itself means eternal. The body will but follow while you appear to be in dreams. It can never lead you to where you would not be. It does not guard your sleep nor interfere with your awakening. Release your body, release all billions of fractured bodies from imprisonment, from thought, from judgment, and you will see no one as prisoner to what you have escaped. So be very careful that false empathy doesn't capture you, and you see people suffering and you believe their suffering is real, and then you sit and judge and you say, how can those people do it to them? Holy Spirit, Holy Son of God, recognize you are the light. See all of it as healed. See all of it as unified. See all of it as Christ, remembering itself as you, one indivisible self. You will not want to hold in guilt your chosen enemies, nor keep them in chains to illusions of changing love, the ones you think are friends. Hear me carefully with ears of the heart now. The innocent release and gratitude for their release. Abide therein. Rest as awareness. Rest and give gratitude for your awareness of dreaming, from your release to being bound to the stories of bodies and suffering in the world. And what they see upholds their freedom from imprisonment and death. Open your mind, open your awareness to change. And there will be no ancient penalty extracted from your brother or yourself, no judgment on right, wrong, and what should be and what shouldn't be, and how things should play out. For God has said there is no sacrifice that can be asked. There is no sacrifice that can be made. Rest as awareness. Abide in being. Stop seeing people as good, bad, right, wrong, awake, not awake. Stop seeing yourself as I'm awake and they're asleep. If you still see sleeping, there's a part of you which is asleep. If you see the face of Christ everywhere, the recognition everything is spirit, face of Christ, recognition everything spirit. What recognizes it but the Christ within, the Christ you truly are, the Son of God, we all are as one shared, indivisible beingness. Be you that knowingly. Thanks for joining me. I know this was a long one. Keep sending your questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And the love you are is the love I am. The love I am recognizes the love you are. And go in peace, and no more stay. See you next week.